Today's hike is Willis Creek. You have to go down a dirt road, and if you don't have four-wheel drive, there's at least one point that you definitely won't make it through. But once you get there, it's an easy hike and spectacular. This is Kelly Paul hiking in the Willis Creek up ahead of me. Little slot canyon in southern Utah. Gotta watch where I'm stepping so I don't step in the creek. But just spectacular. Do a little jump there. There's a series of about 5 or 6 different slot canyons, and each one seems more incredible than the next one. But you just keep following the creek from one canyon to the next. You got the video going. What do you have to say for yourself?
Willis Creek, an incredible hike. I really like it. The Trail Hawk has served us well in getting us up one part of the trail where we definitely needed four-wheel drive. Quite adventure.
This hike is what I'll call family-friendly, meaning that unlike Peekaboo and Spooky Gulch, you had no cliffs to climb up or drops to climb down, and no narrow areas that you had to squeeze through. It was mainly flat with just a little grade to keep the creek running downhill. But spectacular views, grain of the rock, the colors of the rock and the different canyons. If you like slot canyons, this is just a fun hike to do, as long as you got a vehicle that'll get you there. That's the slot canyon we're in. Hiking across the river. The creek. Kelly's up ahead there. Silhouette in the light. It is spectacular. Cool canyon.
I've become a slot canyon junkie. This will be my new drug. Wait, I don't have a drug. This will be my only drug. Slot canyon junkie.
And we're out of the shadows into the light.
Where it's warm.
We had a good time hiking through the canyons, seeing the different rocks. Kelly tried to get a picture of the grain of the rocks. Not sure if it worked out for him or not. We saw this. I can't call it a real petroglyph. But there are petroglyphs at the end of the canyon. Unfortunately, our search for them failed. But in spite of that, still spectacular photos. Just a great hike. Unfortunately, when we reached the last slot canyon, we didn't know it, and we continued to hike on down Willis Creek until it actually disappeared into the ground. And then we hiked a little further and further until we really realized that maybe there's not an end to this thing. Okay, I'm taking a video. There's a hike.
Perfectly good 5-mile trip into a 10-mile trip.
That's what we get for following Kelly. This was the last slot canyon, and we should have turned around after this, but we kept going.
We're warriors.
We're crazy. But you can see it's spectacular. Just very cool.
But in spite of turning a 4.8 mile hike into about a 10-mile hike, it still was a great hike, spectacular views, and as I said before, would highly recommend Willis Creek Slot Canyon. The only issue is the road getting there. And like I said previously, when we went, if you didn't have that four-wheel drive, you wouldn't have made it. But we're glad we did.